Hey there everybody, welcome back to another one of my budgeting videos. This is going to be my weekly digital cash envelope update. So really quickly, because I always forget to say this at the beginning, it's just a really quick explanation. My cash envelopes are all kept as digital money. So whenever I'm referring to the envelopes or the money in general, when I do my budget, I figure out how much I'm able to put into my digital cash envelopes, and then I move the money over to a prepaid MasterCard. And whenever I'm spending out of these categories, I just tap that card and pay that way. It's just easier for the shops that I tend to go to. So yeah, so now that that explanation is done, let's just jump into the weekly update. The last time we were here was February 16th update, and I was in the negative in two columns, groceries and fun, and then I lent from miscellaneous to fun to bring it to a zero balance. In my world, the envelopes can lend money to each other if need be, as long as I don't put one envelope so drastically below or like with a low enough number in there that it wouldn't be able to cover costs for that category. So for instance, if I had $50 in transportation and I moved 45 of it over to fun and then I couldn't buy gas, that's a no-go. But if I have the money, I can move it around, especially when I know that I'm not going to be doing a lot of spending in the upcoming week from a certain category. So for this particular thing, the reason that I did it wasn't because I needed to bring the fun category to a balance I could use, because it's not usable, it was at zero, but I knew I wasn't going to have any expenses coming out of either category, and it just makes it easier when I get to the next paycheck and I'm adding money back in, that instead of adding money into an account or into an envelope that's at a negative balance, I'm just starting it from a zero balance. So it's just really for the math. I do it for the math. Now my groceries category was quite a bit negative by $43.01. And I did forget that when I was doing the budget and deciding how much money to put into my grocery category. So I will show you what happened with that. But yeah, so the last time we were here, my balances were negative $43.01 for groceries, $2.58 for miscellaneous, $0 for fun, $31.50 for physio, and $2.16 for transportation. Now, anything with a red dot, if you can see, the transportation ones have all been checked off, but these red dots were transactions that didn't actually get charged to the prepaid MasterCard, but instead went onto my Visa card, and then I had to take money from these categories to pay back. The problem with that was because I went so far into the negative with the groceries, I couldn't do that. Like technically I have the money, but because all the money is just on one prepaid card, if one of the categories goes into a negative, the other categories will sort of be floating and covering, so the card in general doesn't go in negative. But if I had pulled out all the money from these categories, these three categories, to pay the credit card off from the money that those transactions should have charged to this card, then the whole card itself will be in a negative balance, and the card cannot go into a negative balance. It is the beauty of it. I can't overspend all of my variable spending money within a pay period or like within any time frame, because the card can't go to a negative balance. It'll get to a zero, and that's bad enough. So I had to leave money here until it was payday and I was doing the budgeting, so that I could then transfer money out to be able to put it onto the Visa card. The one exception to that, because I wanted to at least do some of it, was transportation. I had enough money on the card in general that all of the transactions that belonged under the transportation column that were charged to the Visa card, I moved that money out. It was $99.70. So I transferred it out, or off, I guess, from the prepaid MasterCard to my bank account, had to wait for it to clear. And then once it cleared, I put it onto the Visa. So these ones, that's why they're checked off. They're already done. I still owe my Visa card money from the fun category and money from the miscellaneous category. And I kind of forgot that also when I was doing the budget. This is why you shouldn't do the budget late at night. But it's okay, because nothing has actually been moved over yet, because my bank app is giving glitches. I was trying to go on there to look at information. My budget's only partly done, because the entire Visa card, I can't see it at all. It just says that the card is unavailable, so I can't see the balance. I can't confirm what's being paid. I can't see what's waiting. Nothing. It shows nothing. And so since I can't see it, I'm not willing to start transferring any money or moving anything around until I can actually see it and make sure everything is good. So I'll have to go over the budget again tomorrow. Hopefully the Visa card will be showing in the app by then, and then I'll be able to make sure that my numbers work and do my budgeting video then. But for tonight, we're just focusing on the cash envelopes. Now, on the 19th, I had a physio appointment and it cost $15.75, bringing this column or envelope down to a balance of $15.75. That was my only transaction for last week, and I made sure that that was going to be my only transaction last week because I did not have a lot of money. I didn't want to go any farther, not into debt exactly. The card wasn't in a negative balance. It's just money from these categories were owed to the credit card. This one was in a negative. Everything was kind of floating, everything else. I just didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to put it into more math confusion. So I did have my physio. I had to go to my physio. So that was an expense I knew I would have, but everything else I was very determined to not touch, and I didn't. The February 22nd, that's today. So I have just in the book, I want to be very clear, just in the book, not actually have I transferred any of the money over yet. Like I said, because I can't see the Visa card, I'm not willing to move money to anything. And I'm glad because as I started recording was when I remembered I hadn't paid the Visa card from these categories yet. So I'm going to do a little bit of shuffling. But what I originally did was I put $80 into groceries, $20 into miscellaneous, $30 into fun, $15.75 into physio, and $20 into transportation. Now, I would have liked to do more in transportation, but my budget is very tight, and so $20 it is, and I'm just grateful that I have a hybrid, so it brings me up to $22.16. Physio, $31.50. This category is considered fully funded if it's at $31.50 because I will max have one of these appointments that I have to pay for per week. And if I have, and like she's very hard to get in to see. So if I have one appointment with her per week, then every pay period I just need to put aside $31.50 and I'll be able to pay for the appointments. I had a couple weeks where I couldn't get in to see her, so the money just kind of sat there. So that's why I only added $15.75 to it this time, because I really only need to bring it up to a total of $31.50 to get me through the next 2 weeks. Fun was at 0, so now it's at 30. Miscellaneous is at $22.58, and groceries is at $36.99 because of course I added 80, but I was in the hole, $43.01. Now I forgot about that, and I had budgeted $80 for the next 2 weeks because I don't have to do any grocery shopping this weekend. I'm fine for groceries. The only thing I might need before the end of the week is potentially to go buy maybe some milk, maybe some bread, something like that, but there's really nothing that I need. So I figured $20 for this week just in case, and then $60 for the second week of this pay period. So 80 total, but then of course that got cut down to $36.99. So then I was like, okay, well, I don't have more money to put into the groceries category, so I can't just pull more money out of my budget to put into here. So I figured the miscellaneous is just going to have to help cover if I need, not this week, but next week, more than essentially $37 worth of groceries. And I'll just have to be very careful with what I am purchasing and to try to not go over so I don't have to use from another category. However, now I'm remembering about these charges that need to be paid back to the Visa card, and I don't want to just not pay them back. So I have $15.62 from the miscellaneous category that has to go over to the Visa, and I have, $14.16 plus $25, $39.16 from the fun category. Oh, because of course I do. Of course I do. So I have more money than I have in the category that is owing to the Visa card, because of course I do. My miscellaneous will be fine. It has $22.58, and I need to take $15.62 of it and put it over onto the Visa. This is a problem. Okay, I have only just figured out this problem, so I do not have a solution for it as of yet. I thought this was going to be such a quick and easy and direct video, and I've gone and not made a mistake. I just forgot things because that's what my brain does. Okay, I do not have more money in the budget to pull over into any of these categories. What I have written down is really all that I can give them. So I think I'm going, okay, I will be pulling $15.62 from the money from miscellaneous to put onto the Visa card. And here's my dilemma. I have plans already next week, which is what I had earmarked this $30 for. And I don't know if I can get out of them. And if I don't have the money in the category and the plans go through, then I'm going to be using the Visa card to cover that expense. So even if I move all $30 out, I'm still $9.10 short, and I will be using the credit card on Saturday. Interesting dilemma. Okay, I do have like a smidge of extra money in my budget that I was planning on putting either towards an extra line of credit payment or towards my savings challenge, which is money that I'm saving up to go towards the cost of moving, because if you're new, the house that I rent the basement suite in is up for sale. So at some unknown time, presumably the house will sell, but I have no idea when. And when it does sell, exactly how much time I'll have to get out. So I realized I really need to start putting money aside for the upcoming moving expenses. But I haven't had any money in the budget to be able to do that as of yet. So I was really hoping to use the money that I have for that. But I think what I'll do, the little tiny smidge of extra money that I have, I will pull some of it out to cover the $9.10 difference. So I am going to fully deplete the $30 from the fun category plus $9.10 from the money that was going to go to my savings challenge to put onto the Visa card. To take care of the two items from the fun category. Miscellaneous, I'm going to take $15.62 to put onto the Visa card, bringing this balance down. And that's my solution. I mean, it really is. It's not ideal. I'll have to figure out something for Saturday. Maybe I can convince my friend to do something that doesn't cost money. I bet you I could. You know what? I'm sure I can figure something out. So I'm going to work on changing next Saturday's plans to something that is either much cheaper or free, and I will maneuver the money. Nothing has been moved yet. I know I've said that like 5 times. I'm so sorry. It's just really to reinforce it in my head. So I think what I will do though, I really want to write with this pen, but it's glitching on me also. So I'm going to switch it out to one that will hopefully write the entire time. So I'm just going to put here negative. Oh, and see now, like my pens are just not writing, and I don't know why. So I'm going to put negative $15.62 to Visa, and then negative $30 to Visa. So I know that means that this one has nothing. $6.96. Okay, so that means for groceries I'll have $36.99 with $6.96 for miscellaneous that I can move over if needed. Yeah, okay. So they're not great, and this is for the next 2 weeks, so it won't be an exciting next 2 weeks, but it will be good for the budget, because I know in advance just how little money I have to spend in the various categories. Physio is always going to be fine. I should not need gas this week. My transportation category should be absolutely fine. I need to start building that one back up again. I have a hybrid, so I don't have to get gas all that often. Usually it's like once a month or once every 5-ish weeks. It does desperately need a car wash though, but I'm going to wait a little bit, and I'll just hopefully every pay period be able to put at least $20 in here and build it back up. It was up to $101, but then I had like parking expenses, and this category is not just for gas, but it's also for parking, and it's also if I end up having to take an Uber or a Lyft somewhere, and so that's why it got pulled from quite a bit, because I had 2 Lyft rides in there as well as parking and whatnot. So yes, this is my update for my digital cash envelopes. It feels really weird because usually when it's payday weekend, I film this and then I immediately jump into filming my budgeting video, and they're so interconnected to me that it feels strange I won't be doing that. But there's no point when I'm just going to be sitting there going, I can't do anything. I can't see everything on my bank app. It's showing as unavailable. So it's all in a little bit of a limbo. But I think that these are pretty set. I don't think that they should be affected anymore by the problem that the bank app is having, because they are, for all that they are obviously part of the budget, they're not really part of the budget that's being touched by the glitches that the app is having. So I think everything will be okay. This is how I'm going to be covering expenses. I'm glad that these final charges that went to the Visa are going to be getting paid off, or at least they will be once I can access the Visa. And I will try to stop harping on that. I'm just really irritated by it. But yeah, this is how it's all going to work out. I will sit down with the budget tomorrow when hopefully everything is working properly on the bank app, make sure that I can move things over and actually officially do this. And just to be sort of clear, I'm not moving the money onto the card and then I'm going to move the money back off of the card. What I'm going to do is the $30 that I was going to move onto the card, I'm just going to put directly onto the Visa. And the $20 that I was going to move over, $15.62 of it, I'm going to put directly onto the Visa, and the remaining amount of money will be what I move over to the card, just because it's faster. Because if I move the money over to the prepaid card and then I immediately pull it off to go and put it back into my bank account so I can pay the Visa, I think there might be a slight processing delay, and I just want to get it all done and dusted, you know? So I'm not actually moving the money to then move it back. I'm just going to take it directly from my checking account onto my Visa, and whatever's remaining for the miscellaneous, bring it over onto these cards. Make sense? I think it makes sense. So I will go. Thank you so very much for sitting with me while I do this video and realize in real time that I have forgotten things and made some minor mistakes, but we fixed them. And that's pretty good for me. So I'm actually kind of impressed that in real time, I was able to realize what I had forgotten, what was messed up, and also come up with a solution. Is it a great solution? No, but it is a solution, and I'm gonna run with it. So again, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. I hope you're having a really great night. I hope that you're budgeting. If you do cash envelopes, digital cash envelopes, or something completely different, however you do your budgeting, I hope that it's going really well for you and everything is working out. I will talk to you in another video. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.